Next Monday, Zillow and Redfin are headed to federal court against the Federal Trade Commission. And this sounds like a real boring corporate lawsuit until you understand what the government is actually accusing them of doing. First of all, this is not about home listing sales or realtor commissions. The lawsuit is specifically about multifamily rental advertising. Back in 2005, Zillow and Redfin entered into an agreement involving a $100 million payout from Zillow. The FTC alleges that part of the agreement, Redfin essentially stopped competing directly with Zillow for a majority portion of the multifamily rental advertising business and ended relationships with certain advertising customers and began distributing Zillow's rental listings instead. Now, the government's argument is basically that you can't pay one of your major competitors to stop competing with you. Now, Zillow sees this completely different. Zillow says that it was a legitimate distribution partnership. Their argument is that property managers can advertise through Zillow, get those listings distributed across a much larger network, including places like Redfin, Rent.com, and ApartmentGuide.com. So from Zillow's perspective, the renters are getting access to a lot more inventory and property managers get more exposure. That's what the court is starting to sort out now. With this, was this a legitimate partnership that made rental advertising more efficient, or did Zillow effectively pay a competitor $100 million just to get out of its way? But here's the part that I think is more interesting. Think about how people search for real estate today. Zillow, Redfin, Realtor.com, Homes.com. These companies don't own most of the properties that you're looking at, but they control an enormous amount of the attention surrounding those properties. And attention in real estate is incredibly valuable. If you control where millions of consumers start to search, then you have a tremendous influence over which properties get exposed, where advertising dollars go, where those leads are generated, and how consumers discover real estate. That's why I think this case is a matter beyond apartment rentals. If the FTC wins, it could send a pretty strong message about how far these large real estate platforms and portals can go when making agreements with their competitors. If Zillow and Redfin win, it could strengthen their argument that combining distribution across large platforms actually gives the consumer more inventory, more property, advertising more effective. Either way, trial starts August 24th, 2026. And I'm not just saying, watch to see who wins. I'm watching what this is going to tell us about who's going to control the audience in real estate. Because the audience may be almost just as valuable as those listings themselves. Everybody, it's Joel with Real Broker. That's some national news for you guys. If you have questions about the market here locally on Hilton Head Island, feel free to give me a call. Until next time.